I started praying that we would get back.
Welcome to What's Done in the Dark. We go by Cyn Hilton. You could have been doing a whole bunch of other bullshit, but you tuned in to us, and we appreciate that. Please note this podcast is to be respectful but unapologetic, so sip this tea with caution. All right, let's get into it. So, first things first, this podcast segment is going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about relationships. And we have a special guest with us, and her name is Nikki.
Hey,
And she's
y'all.
going and she's going to be kind of giving her take on the different type of relationships that we're going to be discussing today.
So we've been knowing Nikki for some years, and she's been through a lot and overcome a lot, and we feel like she will be able to help somebody through something because, you know, she is a survivor out here in these streets. So, yeah, we wanted y'all to bring her on to the podcast so she can give her testimony.
Thank you, Cyn and Hilton, for having me. Just a little bit backstory. I'm 27. I'm from Dallas, but I recently relocated. And I'm excited about this because I think this little this topic that we're discussing today is needed across this world, and so I'm ready to get into this, and I'm ready to hear what you all have to say. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we first wanted to touch on relationship with family members.
Mm.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on with it.
Woo.
Touchy.
For me personally, my relationship at home was pretty okay. You know, I had a mom, I had a dad. My dad is really my stepdad, but it's been in my life since I was 4. Only dad I've ever known. My sperm donor, he out there doing what he do. But I, as a kid, we tried to have a relationship with him. He didn't want it. As I grew older, I reached out one more time. It didn't work. So I washed my hands with it, and that's that on that. My family was more so, I'm going to show you versus telling you I love you and giving me that affection. And as a kid, that really fucked with me because my love language is affirmation. So I needed that. I needed to be told, oh, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're intelligent, I love you, give me a hug, give me a kiss. I didn't get that. So I grew up angry.
Right.
And I had an older sister. We're 8 years apart. Me and her relationship is non-existent. We've had little spurts here and there over the years where we kind of got together. I thought we hashed things out, but then it just got worse over the years, and I've completely washed my hands with her. That relationship cannot be salvaged. I don't want it to be salvaged, and I wish her nothing but the best. I know you're not supposed to go on in life hating anybody, but I just, you know how you despise someone? That's where I'm at on that, but I'm at peace with it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah, and on my sperm donor side, I do have a sister, and she's always wanted that relationship with me, but I've pushed her away because of my sperm donor. When I see her, I see him. And that fucked with me as a kid. So I was like, I don't want to have a relationship with her. She's literally done nothing to me but try to love me and have a relationship. And I've pushed her away. And that's something that I have to work on because, she has children too that I don't even know. I have nieces and nephews that I don't know because I've pushed her away.
Mm-mm.
So.
My situation is kind of similar to yours as far as like the whole stepmom or stepdad and the whole mom situation. That's how mine was. We don't do the step. I'm just, clarifying for, those out there. I have my biological father and I know who he is. And then my stepdaddy, which is my dad, the one who raised me, the one who I can go to about anything. That's the one who walked me down the aisle. I've been on since I was 9. So it's complicated because my mom never really just came out and said, I love you unless I said it, but I knew she loved me the way she took care of me. you know, so as far as my relationship with my mom, that's my best friend. Like I talk to her about everything. You know, yeah, some people they hide like their, you know, sex life and stuff like that away from their
Mm-hmm.
parents. So, like
Mhm.
my mama knows all about. I can tell her about all my little stuff, and it's not like a disrespectful thing. It's just that she brought me up to not hide things from her, because
Right.
Mhm.
even when she's mad about a decision that I made, she's still gonna have my back. You know. So me and my
Mhm.
mom, like I literally, we talk 3-4 times a day. We text all day. I'm not missing nothing from that situation. I'm not even missing anything from the father situation either, because once I got older, I realized how blessed I truly was. My real father
Mhm.
was in and out of jail. He went to jail when I was 3. He didn't get out till I was 15. And when he got out, he made all these promises in jail. You know, people do that. They do in
Mhm.
relationships
Yeah.
with, you know,
Yeah.
women, and they do it with their family. I'm gonna do this and do
Mhm.
that. We're gonna take you
Mm-hmm.
here. I'm gonna take care of you, make sure you're good. It didn't work out that way. He came, I was one of the first people he came and saw, true enough, but he was happy to be free. 15 years.
Right.
Get
Mhm.
out, and you don't want to worry about no kids, you know. You want to
Mhm.
see the women. You want to go out to the clubs. You want to get up to date.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do that type of thing. And that's what he chose. He chose that life over his children. So for my sister, who is we have the same dad, different moms, she was just like, well, I've been living my life without him, so I'm not gonna hold it against him. I don't care. He come when he come, he go when he goes. For me,
Mhm.
I had abandonment issues.
Mhm.
Right.
And
Right.
it even
Yeah.
goes over into my mother, me being a mother, you know. And so it was just really hard for me to have to deal with the fact that literally my grandmother stayed on one street and I was always at my grandmother's house because our family was that close, and you 2 streets over,
Mhm.
you know.
Mm.
So it was like, why am I not good enough for you?
Mhm.
What
Wow.
was it
Yeah.
about me that you couldn't be a father, you couldn't step up? And I
Mhm.
always thought, you know, maybe when I become a mom, I'll figure it out. But I still haven't figured that out. I still can't think of a reason to run the streets and not take care of my child. I'm thinking
Right.
Mhm.
about her in every aspect of my life. You get what I'm saying? Even when I'm out
Mhm.
there
Exactly.
going out into the clubs and drinking and stuff, I still have my child in my mind. So I can't fathom doing that to her, you know?
Mhm.
And it really, it bothered me, to say the least.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. My situation is a little bit different from you all. My situation is my dad did his best to try to raise me. He slept with a woman who had drug addiction. She was into prostitution. She ran away from her hometown from North Carolina to come to Texas, and she pretty much abandoned her family. And so she was pregnant with me. She was still doing drugs while I was still in her stomach and things of that nature. And so my dad tried. I can say he did try to step up and be a dad, but he was very physically abusive, emotionally abusive, and most of all, verbally abusive. And
Mhm.
so at this point, this random older lady, she was a stranger, she offered to raise me. So she had me since I was like 6 months, all the way up to I turned 9. And so from my understanding, that she was my family, her family was my family.
Mhm.
And so I'm outside playing and, just doing what kids do. And this big old van pull up, was like, oh, hey, we're your aunts. And I'm looking like, oh, no, I don't have any aunts, and from that angle. And so from that point on, I found out that he stopped talking to his mom, which is my grandmother, because she threatened to call CPS,
Mhm.
because he beat me so bad because I wasn't trying to potty train, or I kept peeing in my pamper or something like that. And so he just left the family, didn't communicate. So therefore I suffered, and then I didn't know that I had a whole other side of family because of his actions and decisions. And that kind of really got under my skin. Like, it's kind of like being lied to. I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know how to deal with it. I was excited that I had cousins and aunts and uncles and a grandmother and things of that nature, but it was still scary. And so fast forward 6th grade year going to the 7th grade, or the end of 6th grade going to 7th grade, my adopted mom died. And I knew her all my little 9 years of life, and so for that to happen was very. It took me, took the breath out of me, and so I had to move with this family that I didn't know, and so that was a big adjustment. So I can go on and on and tell you about that, but I'm truly the black sheep of my family.
I think when you were still, even though you were in sixth grade, you were still a baby. You were just now
Right.
getting into big girl. Like, they call middle school is like big girl school. That's where you start really
Right.
seeing things. And for you not to have your mom, like whether people like it or not, that was your mom. That's who raised you. So it's like that. Like I couldn't imagine losing my mom at 6 in the 6th grade. That's when you really need your mom, when you're a girl, especially.
Exactly.
Puberty, growing.
Boys. That's when you start playing.
Yes.
Like that's when you start learning, like, I don't know, but when I was in 6th grade, like that's when they started doing like that's when they had home ec classes. So I started learning. That's when I went home and talked to my mom. That's 6th grade is crucial for parenting, I feel like, because that's a totally different ball game. You're literally going from being in one class all day to now you have a schedule to keep and you have to move around all day long. So you to be still standing after that, hats off.
Yes.
How do you feel like that tied into your life pertaining to you growing up and making friends?
It made it very difficult, but however, I can say in that same breath, I did move around a lot. If it wasn't with my adopted mom, then I was with my dad, and with that being with my dad, he had so many people watching me. If it wasn't that, then I was living with different aunts, and so I was able to adapt and be who I needed to be based on my environment. So I can make friends with anybody, but having that bond and that attachment, like truly just having a friendship, was kind of difficult. And one area was if a girl was like, hey, I don't want to be your friend anymore because I want to be friends with Jessica. I didn't know how to let go because I had abandonment issues. I was lied to. I found out this wasn't my family, but this is my family. And so I was trying to hold on to everything. So when someone was like, well, I don't want to be your friend or whatever, then it kind of like, kind of shook me and I couldn't process it. So I tried to hold on to friends that I didn't need to be attached to.
Right.
And so from that experience, I just became nonchalant. Like, okay, you want to be my friend, but I'm not going to talk to you every day. So it kind of like did a number on me. I can say that is my friendships haven't been healthy. But I'm learning from that, and I don't know. It's just stuff that you go through as a child really does affect you as you're growing up, and then when you enter into adulthood. So,
Childhood traumas, definitely.
Yes, that's
absolutely.
something real. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to be the type to be like depression, like that's in your mind, like when you're young and you see people dealing with it, it's like it's hard for you to to really comprehend until they always say you don't know how it feels until you go through it yourself. And so it wasn't until I lost trying to make relationships with family. I grew up 5 siblings. My dad had kids before he got with my mom, but we weren't close to them. They weren't around. They didn't really come around us. So it was the 5 that she had. It was me and my sister, and then it was the 3 that my mom had with him. So it was 5 of us. That's how we grew up. And so we grew up very close, going on family trips, doing all of that. But then my 2 sisters, they died within a year of each other. So like one passed away January 11, 2010, and we buried her on January 23rd, 2010. My sister that was 8, which is who my daughter is named after she passed away the day that we buried my sister the next year. So January 23rd, 2011.
Wow.
So
Wow.
the girl figure that I had, the girl bond that I had with my sisters no longer existed.
Right.
Me
Yeah.
and my brothers.
Wow.
And they were babies then and I was grown. So it's like we have the bond now because one of my brothers is grown and one of them, he's, in high school, he's on his way to being grown. But it wasn't like how it is now. Like, we're close now, but we were close then too, but it was just different because, like I said, I was like
Yeah.
20,
The age
21.
difference.
Yeah. So when I got to college and started really like experiencing life, because I was very sheltered because I was my mom's first child, it was a culture shock. So to see people going through stuff, not having their parents there, or not. I remember when you told me about your situation, Nikki, or when I met some other people that I know, it was a culture shock. I thought everybody had a mom and
Right.
dad. I thought everybody was close to their families. I didn't realize that families didn't get along. I didn't realize none of that because my grandmother always instilled in us that family is everything and family is supposed to be there for you and have your back. Even though I didn't have my dad, I had all that family, y'all, and I was still miserable because my real father was not there. And I still, even though I had my aunts, uncles, we had family trips and all of that, y'all, I still was broken. I had abandonment issues. And it's like standing in a room with a whole bunch of people but still feeling lonely.
Yes.
That's how I
Yes.
felt. And
Yes.
I would act out and do things that, normal people wouldn't do. And it was
Mm-hmm.
all because I just couldn't understand why my dad, what was it? I felt like it was my fault. What was it about me that you couldn't be a father?
Right.
And it wasn't until, and with my friends, I felt the same way. Like, I'm not finna, you're gonna be, I hear my mom, like, you're either gonna be there or you're not gonna be there. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna say it how I wanna say it because who gonna pop me? What you gonna do besides be mad and take it? I was that type of friend, and I was really mean in college when I started meeting everybody, like Nikki and all of them. I was really mean and blunt, but at the same time, I would still try to like take care of them, like I was their big sister. Like, I would try to still like, oh, I'm cooking today, come eat, or I'm doing this, y'all come with me. What it wasn't really trying to be that mean bitch, but it was just me being broken and dealing with what I was dealing with that nobody knew that was going on because I was not trying to hurt my daddy's feelings because I'm worried about this other man when he's been taking care of me all my life.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, friendships for me, my childhood traumas definitely affected it. First part of my life. Not necessarily now, but maybe it stopped about maybe 2 years ago. Because I grew up and had to realize a couple of things about myself that I wasn't ready to admit to. But I was always that friend you had to rock around like eggshells, the saying or whatever. I was angry a lot. I was angry, and you said something that I didn't like, I didn't agree with. You gonna know about it. You gonna feel my wrath. And I mean, if you want to jump stupid, hey, I'm with that too. It was whatever you was on is what I was on, but I was on it 10 times harder because I was ignored a lot. I felt like when I needed the help and the therapy that I should have gotten, I didn't get it. So I was always looking out for me and my feelings, protecting myself. So I didn't give a fuck about yours because I'm going to make sure I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I walked into my friendships with. And a lot of people were like, damn, I can't tell you how I feel or what I'm going through because what you tell me, it hurts my feelings. I wasn't pacifying people's feelings back then. I was just saying whatever the fuck I thought, and that's just what it was. Or I'd get upset or I'd get angry. It didn't take much for me to get upset. And I was violent. And I would cut myself when I was younger. That it started about 5th, 6th grade. And because I liked pain, I liked the way it felt. I liked that in that instance, I could feel a different pain than what I felt before.
Right. Yeah.
So it was just a coping mechanism. And I tell people all the time that I had to pull myself from this dark place and it took years to do because I didn't know how to do it. And there was things that I didn't want to face. So I was just in this dark place and I was literally suffocating myself. And me being angry all the time, I walked around with a chip on my shoulder. I wore my heart on my sleeve. And that ruined a lot of friendships for me.
Wow.
Yeah, same.
It definitely did. And I'm not saying that, like, I love my dad has always been there. And anytime I need anything, there was a time where I had to have emergency surgery and they thought I had cancer. They thought I had ovarian cancer. I called my mom crying my eyes out, y'all. I was 22 and freaking out. Called my mom. She literally left her job. She was working at Farmers Branch. It's a little bit of a distance. So she left her job. My dad came. He knocked on my door. I was living by myself in this apartment. And when I opened the door, he grabbed me and he hugged me. And we just was in my doorway hugging for 10 minutes. And I'm just crying my eyes out. And he's like, I don't care what we have to do. We'll get a second, third opinion. We're not going to take this, as an answer. Right. We'll figure it out. We'll make you better. We'll heal you. And he's always been there. Anytime that I need him, if I'm stuck on the side of the road at 4:00 in the morning because I was at the club, guess who's coming to get me? My dad.
Right.
And he would say, all right, give me 10 minutes, get up. It was that. And my mom has always protected me. And I think my mom's always felt like she had to do double work because my real father wasn't there.
Right.
But not knowing that she didn't have to do the double work because I had a father, even though he wasn't biologically mine.
Right.
And I love her. Me and my mom have a great relationship, and I'm not faulting them for anything. They just didn't give me the help that I needed. Because, in a lot of Black families, they feel like therapy's for white people. You don't need that. You get over it. Suck it up.
My dad used to say, that's white people shit.
Quit being over dramatic.
Right.
That was my household. It was, there ain't nothing wrong with that girl. And then they would say, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, this fucked with me as a kid. I would get called crazy. She just crazy. She's stupid. She crazy. She dumb. She just, she act ignorant. She slow. Just dumb shit like that. Like,
right.
I would get called crazy because I would lash out. I was angry. So they really thought that I had like I was bipolar or some dumb shit. And it was literally a cry for help. So
yeah.
You're broken. That's exactly like you didn't
so
know
that's what the situation was with other family members. They would just think like, oh, that girl's crazy. No, I'm not crazy.
Right. So a lot of people are going through that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are getting bullied, or a parent is absent in their life, sexual abuse or whatever, and they're doing little things to say, hey, I need help, I'm hurting. And you have a lot of Black families just like, oh, well, go pray about it, or ain't nothing wrong with you, just leave it on the rug like it's like it doesn't mean anything. And then we grow up and we have to address these demons, and and that's
then you have to imagine trying to address the demons. And I'm not negating for those who don't have kids. I'm just saying, like, imagine having to address demons with a child.
Right.
So you're having to address your demons and make sure that your demons aren't going to be pushed on this innocent child because they had nothing to do with it, but you're still trying to fight your own demons and not make sure that you don't give your child any demons to have to deal with. You get what I mean? And it's like, with COVID and all of that's going on right now in the world, the rate for domestic abuse and violence is so high. It's at an all-time high, and it's being seen on Zoom and on social media, and people are, like Cyn said last week, these things, people are getting away, when they go to work. They're getting away from that situation when they go to work, or the kids are getting away from that when they go, when they go to school. That's their safe haven. And now we're stuck in the house with this situation, and it's just,
and a lot of people are getting into that depressive stage, and my heart goes out to them because I know what it feels like to have to pull yourself from this place that, and when I keep saying this dark place, it's a place that I can't describe. It's literally all mental, of course. It's everything bad that you can think of. This is what this place consists of.
Yeah.
And it's just it's pure, just it's manic,
Yeah.
it's depressing, it's
Kind of
everything.
tormenting too.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Because you're
It's
trying
tormenting because
literally, it's like a battle. You know how you see on TV
yes.
back in the day, you have an angel on this side and a
There you
devil on
go.
this side.
Yep.
You're literally battling with yourself, like, get up, go get dressed, take a bath, eat. But then you got on this side, you got the devil, and it's like, you don't have to do that. You can lay down. You bet. You know, you're literally mentally fighting yourself. And I
Thank you. It's a
literally,
fight within yourself.
yes, it's a fight within yourself. It definitely is, because it's like, you have to think about it. And I really have to say that you and Nikki really helped me through mine, because talking to y'all or texting y'all and a few other people this last 6 months, and it wasn't even because of COVID. It was just me hitting rock bottom, not financially, not, you know, none of that type of situation. It was just more of a, I'm mentally drained. Like, so much has happened. And, you know, when my sisters died, I was told, be strong for your mama, be strong for your brothers, because I was the oldest. Then my godmama passes away, be strong, be strong. I'm always told to be strong. And then the icing on the cake, my grandmother, who is the glue to our family, she goes. When I got pregnant with my daughter, my grandfather, which I was really close to him, he dies 2 months before I even have my daughter. And the one thing people kept saying is, it's a circle of life. He left out so she could come in. Like, that really messed with me, you know? Like, so, and I don't know what it was about January, but that's the month both my sisters died, like I said. And it was just like, I'm done. I got off social media. I left it up. I was done. I didn't get back on social media until June of this year. It was just, I needed a mental break. And when I say I was not in a dark hole, but I was like in a dark building.
Right.
Like, no, there was no light in sight. Like, you know how there's a maze and you're constantly going around in circles? That's what that felt like.
Wow.
Like,
It's like pure insanity, seeing the same thing over and over and over.
Same thing over. You're driving
and you
yourself
can't
crazy.
pull out. You're suffocating. This is what this dark place is, and I was there for a long time. And you mentioned how January is a rough month for you. For my mom, February was a rough month for her, which made the household be on pins and needles, because when my mother was a child, she lost her father. He was murdered. And I don't know the ages, but she was maybe 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, around that age. And then a month or two later, she lost her mother to pneumonia. She got sick with pneumonia. She went to the hospital. They gave her penicillin, and she was allergic to penicillin, and she ended up passing away. So she had to move in with her grandmother. And then after my sister, she had a son, and then he had a heart problem, and he ended up dying in the hospital in February. So February is a bad month for my mother, and it literally, like, every year, even now, you know, I'm 28. Every February, I kind of distance myself from my mom, because I know that is a bad trigger month for her. And I know, I'm glad that you touched on that, Hilton, because a lot of people have those triggers. Certain things trigger them and make them go back to that dark place. And I don't even know what to say to people and how you can prevent yourself from that, because it's a trigger. You don't know.
Can't. You have to let them come to you. Honestly, I didn't understand what that meant until it happened to me. Like, when my sisters died, my grandmother died, people, they mean well. But the stuff that they say is like pitiful. Like, for instance, this one lady was like, told my mom, when my sister died, she was ill and she actually died. We all of my mom's kids, all 5 of us, was in one bed, just spending time with her and spending time with each other, not knowing that night when we went to sleep, that was going to be the last night we were going to have with her. So when we woke up the next morning to get them ready for school, she was in the bed and she was gone. So the lady came to my mom in Dollar General, and she was like, Oh, I'm sorry for your loss, but at least you don't have to pay bills.
What?
That's what the lady told my mom.
Wow.
And my mom was
That is so
like, I would
insensitive.
pay all of her bills if it meant for me to get her back. It's like people don't think, or like somebody will say something like, I know how you feel. I lost my grandmother. She didn't lose her grandmother. She lost her child. The person that she
Mm-hmm.
cared for 9 months. The person
Mm-hmm.
that they told that she wasn't going
Gave
to
her
live
life.
past
Yeah.
one, but she lived to be 17. So even though, you're trying, just when people are going through that type, just say, I'm sorry for your loss. Don't try to relate because it
Exactly.
makes it worse. Because who's to say she had a good relationship, with her grandmother? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you get what I'm trying to say? Like, or they'll say, I understand how you feel. My grandmother died. I understand how you feel. I lost my uncle. I didn't lose my uncle. My uncle's sitting right here. My
Right.
grandmother's who I lost. Like
Mm-hmm.
Right.
people don't really understand like what people are going through when it comes to loss or depression. So let the people come to you. You know, let those people reach out to you, or just say, hey, I'm here if you need me.
There
Right.
you go. Yeah, because some people
That's
don't
it.
know how to ask for
Because some
help.
people don't know how to ask for help. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
you just say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I know you're going through. I'm here whenever,
Mm-hmm.
wherever, or you know, just do that. But don't try to be relatable because sometimes it
Exactly.
just backfires and it makes them feel way worse.
Yep. Wow.
So
Mm-hmm.
it, as far as like, okay, so how do y'all feel like your relationships with your family and friends? How did it affect your relationship as far as like with your significant other?
Mm. Am I gonna go first?
Oh
Yes.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so for me, I haven't had many serious committed relationships because I wanted to live the single life because I didn't want attachments, because I didn't want abandonment. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted, like I told y'all, as a kid, I wanted that affection and that affirmation and that closeness. And I just felt like I got ignored a lot as a kid. So I didn't want that. And then, of course, a lot of men, you can't get them to act right, y'all.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you don't text me 3-4 days, I got an issue with that. It really bothers me. Whether it's relationships with friends, family, whatever. It's a trigger point for me. So to prevent myself from even have to go through that, I just was like, look, I'm gonna do what I do. You do what you do. If I want, see you, talk to you, whatever, then I'll make that. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
was basically the nigga in the relationship. It was none of that. So I pushed a lot of people away. I pushed a lot of good men away, too. And then I picked the wrong ones. The ones that I gave the energy and time to were the ones that I
Right.
shouldn't have.
Right.
And I ended up being in some toxic relationships. There was one where um it was toxic from the first day I met him. It was just toxic, but
Oh
I
God.
was young and free, 18, just graduated high school, living my best life. I was in my ratchet days. So we got together and that relationship ended because we ended up getting into a physical altercation. He
Mm.
fractured my nose. Um,
Jesus.
while I'm driving, I hit the car in front of me. The
Wow.
person got out of the car like, bitch, you hit my car. He saw the blood gushing from my nose and was like, oh my God, are you all right? And he's like, did that motherfucker do that to you? And me, mm-hmm. And he takes his seatbelt off and he shoots off. We're on Bruton, y'all. If you know anything about Dallas,
Wow.
we're on
Yeah.
Bruton and Masters. He takes off running. The person jumps in his car and try to chase him down to find him. We was
Wow.
we was in
Have
my car
mercy.
squabbing, y'all. I had a little Ford Escort. We was in that bitch fighting, like, cause I'm not
Mm.
gonna just let you put your hands on me. We
Right.
gonna fight.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And long story short, for that one, I ain't seen him since because I went searching for him for many, many months and years. So,
Oof.
um, and then before I met my husband, I met another guy, and I had a friend was like, you're so mean. You need to loosen up, be more, feminine, be more optimistic, be submissive. you know. So I was like, okay, I'll do something different. So move this motherfucker in, y'all. Was doing girlfriend shit for a motherfucker that I shouldn't have been doing it to. I'm sure y'all can relate to that.
Absolutely.
And long story short, that got very, very toxic. It ended up with me getting a restraining order. And, you know, I have a 34-minute recorded conversation with him threatening me repeatedly. You know, I'm gonna come shoot your house up, I'm gonna come shoot you at work type of thing. He threw a lamp at me. It got bad. And while the police are looking for him, because I had to call the police, he literally told me, "You gonna have to call the police on me because I ain't going nowhere." Because I wanted him out of my house, and he was in the bushes, you guys, waiting for my friend to leave. I don't know what his intentions were, but
wasn't good.
It was not good. And the police ended up finding him in the damn bushes on his phone talking shit to me, and they arrested him. And he was in there for about a week. I did do a restraining order, and the DA was pressuring me. I still have the emails to this day. Please, you know, call us. We'd like to form a case. We'd like for you to testify. We want to take this on. And he was calling me like, please don't, I'm sorry. Why don't you go to court with me? Will you take me? Why would I take you to court on a case that's involving me?
Right.
Now,
Right.
you're trying to intimidate me. You're trying to make it seem like, oh, she took me to court, so we're fine. No, don't call me for that. I'm not doing that. I said, you know what? Honestly, I don't feel like you should get jail time because you didn't physically, you know, you didn't like punch me, kick me, none of that. You threw a lamp at me. You destroyed my house. You punched holes in my walls and my door. All that's replaceable. I'm still alive. I'm living. You didn't physically assault me. You know what I'm saying? So, but I want you to stay away from me. This, you know, this restraining order still stands, and I got it extended because I don't know what the hell you was trying to do to me, you know?
Yeah.
And so, with that, I was scared to get into these committed relationships because I was like, I keep getting these men that are violent. And for me, I had already pulled myself from this dark place. And it's like, y'all going to make me go to this person that I used to be. And I'm violent, and two violent people don't need to be together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I kind of just didn't want relationships like that, because I knew the anger that I possessed in myself. And I knew if I was ever in a situation like that again, it would be bad. So it was just, I got my little cuddy buddy. We good. And that's that on that. And then I met my husband, and he gave me a different type of love that I'd never had before. He kind of filled the void of the love that I wanted from my parents, and what I wanted from friendship, and what I wanted from men that couldn't provide that. He provides it. Now, I'm not saying that his love is perfect, because, you know, no love is perfect. There's no such thing as perfect love. I hate when people say that. That's just not factual.
Right.
It's hard because he pushes me in areas where I don't want to be pushed, y'all. Like, before I met him, I was working at a dead-end job, and I had been there for almost 10 years. I was working it because I was comfortable. I don't like being uncomfortable, so it just gave me comfort. And I, you know, I don't drive on highway. I had highway freight, so when he got with me, it was, you need to get you a better job. You deserve more. You deserve more money. And I felt like he was like downing me, but he saw the queen in me, and he wanted better for me. But I was in such a comfortability that I was like, this motherfucker's trying to control me. And it wasn't that. It was just a different type of, no, get out there, push yourself. You got this. Quit telling yourself that you can't do it. God didn't give you the spirit of fear. He gave you the spirit of a peace of mind. So you got this. You can do it. And I think that's why I'm in a different headspace as far as relationships. And now I'm starting to see, and even with him, like, he has to be patient with me because I give him hell, y'all. It's not easy to love me. Friends, family, it's just not easy. I just feel like I'm not an easy person to love, which is sad that I feel that way about myself. But it's a constant battle. It's a battle of keeping myself from that dark place and seeing the triggers that I have and the childhood traumas that has affected my life and continue to affect my life, and trying to work through them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
That's awesome now that you have a great man that pushes you beyond your comfort zones and see things that you probably couldn't even see at the time that you possessed inside. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't have that. That is good.
In all honesty, I know we're talking about relationships, stuff like that, and like it wasn't until I've only had two real relationships. Honestly, I was like 19. I was dating this guy. He was 27. He was in and out of jail, and I let him come live with me. I had my first apartment, let him come live with me, and I was putting money on his books and doing all this stupid stuff because I was young, dumb, and he was 27. He could use it,
Right.
I told him one day, like, I think I might be pregnant. He was like, "Oh, okay, show me proof." And I'm like, "I don't have no proof," because I said, "I think I am,"
Right.
Woke up one day, child, to him having his hands around my neck.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, like, show me the proof you pregnant, this, that, and the other. Neighbor ended up calling the police. I mean, we tore it up because y'all know I'm a fighter. I don't fight as much as I used to, but I will throw these hands. So you're not going to put me in my own house.
Okay.
You said, try Jesus, don't try me.
Okay. Okay.
Honey, because Hilton gonna throw them hands, honey. All you gotta do is tell me the time and place. Send me your location.
Oh God.
Like to leave. Okay. So at that point in time, I was really, now I'm kind of laid back. I don't really do too much. I'm not gonna be fighting. I got a child. I got too much to lose. But back then, honey, all you gotta do is send me your location. I'm ready. So, nigga,
you said send me
your location.
Exactly. Yeah.
I hate that
I say, honey. So we tore it up, honey. We tore it up. Neighbor called the police, sent him to jail. His mama had the nerve to call me and like, "Can you help me bail him out of jail?" Hell no.
Some nerve, the audacity.
The audacity, honey. That cannot. Never saw him after he went to jail. Never tried to reach out to me. After that, I just, I had, abandonment issues. I felt like if my own daddy didn't want to be around, like, why would anybody else? So it wasn't until I met my husband, which we've been knowing each other since I was in high school. He tried to talk to me then, y'all, but I thought he was ugly and he was too skinny. And now, so it was like when I met him, and he wished his bond was like mine was with how my bond is with my family. He wished his was like that. Now he don't care, but he wished it was. And that, honestly, meeting him and talking to him and having serious conversations about how he grew up and how he was treated and his relationship, with his father, without going into detail about his business, it made me grateful. It made me realize I was truly blessed. And to say that we've been married 7 years, and the first 2 years of that, it's been like, it was a lot of me being me having my guard up. Even though we were married, we got married 10 months after we got in a relationship. So even though I was broken or whatever like that, he never, like, I'm just gonna be out there. When I would get mad, I would throw something at him in the beginning. Like, I'd be ready to slap him, or I'd be like, "You got to get out." Like, trying to put him out and push him away before he did it to me.
Yes, that's me.
Wow.
So a lot of the things that we went through, and they always say the first 5 years of a marriage is hardest, because now you're living with this person, you're around this person 24/7. It's just a different type of situation.
You're seeing their authentic self.
Exactly.
That's what's going on. Yeah. I'm in my first year of marriage. It's hard.
It's hard. It's definitely hard. That 5th year, it kind of slows down, but marriage goes in cycles. I'm starting to realize. So I had to realize that things that were going on in our relationship was not only his fault, but like, dang, so you mean to tell me this stuff is my fault too? Like,
accountability is hard.
Yeah, because like doing it, trying to be this person to where I'm not gonna allow you to leave me. So I'm gonna leave you first, because daddy issues, it was really.
So you try to self-sabotage.
Yeah. run a good relationship, and like all men, they have their issues.
Right.
Everybody has their things they need to work on, but a lot of things I pushed him away and pushed him out because like I don't need you trying to leave me. I'm gonna leave you first. Not realizing that he really want to be with you and he really loves you. Yeah, he got things to work on, but he not gonna go nowhere.
Right.
He just wants you to be a better you and trust him. I had to really like talk to myself and have that conversation with myself. Like, yeah, he's done his wrong, but what have you done? And a lot of it, my attitude and being scared that I'm gonna be abandoned had a lot to do with it.
Right. Oh wow.
Wow,
That's
you are
good.
really teaching me something right now, just with my own marriage right now, because that's exactly what I'm
It's
going through.
still
I might
hard
have
to
to have a
hold my
conversation with
tongue.
myself.
Ooh, y'all be hard to hold my tongue, but it's not about what you say; it's how you say it.
How you say it, yes.
And sometimes you don't.
Wow.
You don't need there's no reaction. You don't need to speak. You
And then
just
you need
shut up
to
and listen.
listen.
I'm working on that as well.
Because me, as soon as you say something, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say back. Because I got to be harder than you.
Me too. Yeah. And I'm quick with the comebacks. My husband always says that, like, you are quick with these comebacks. I always have to have a comeback. Like, I can't just let it go.
But what you're realizing is you're sabotaging yourself. And you're sabotaging their relationship, because even though they're dealing with it now, they're not going to deal with that forever. Because what's going to happen is somebody is going to come and they're going to show them that, I'll listen. Even if they're not better than you. That's because they'll listen to what they have to say. I used to hate him venting to me. I felt like it was him complaining. Why are you complaining? Just just be grateful. Like, good Lord. But your husband, wife should be your best friend. You should be able to vent to that person.
Yeah, that's that safe haven. He should come to you with those problems.
Y'all, when I say it took for me to literally go and file for divorce and for us to start splitting up, for me to realize that I actually did have a hand in sabotaging my relationship because of abandonment issues, it wasn't until that I realized, like, this is me.
Right.
Wow.
I did this. I pushed you to do that because what I said, my words was hurting you. Not taking away from what he did, because what you did is still your fault. But a lot of it wouldn't have come about if you learned to listen to me. And I'm not saying like I'm not even saying as in a submissive way. Listen to me when I'm hurting. Listen to when I'm going through something. Listen to me when I had a bad day.
Yes, come on.
So it's like when I say, people, when y'all are out here having these kids, and when y'all are out here raising these children, y'all need to make sure that y'all are doing everything possible, because it really messes with the child up even when they're an adult. And I'm a witness to that. If you're in a domestic situation, get out of it. And we will be posting the link and the phone number for you to get out of the situation. If you need somebody to reach out to, there's plenty of places out here. We even have a group that you can get, that you can have other women to talk about, and your secrets are safe. But get out of that situation, if not for yourself, for your children, because what you go through, you think your kids doesn't bother them, it doesn't affect them because of their age, but kids know.
Absolutely.
I think even before, you get into these serious relationships and the topic of children comes, you need to heal from your childhood traumas, because it will follow you.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, look, hate to say it, but look at us. You know what I'm saying? We're still trying to pull ourselves and try to figure out who we are and who we want to be, because we spent so much time in our lives trying to figure out who we are because of these childhood traumas.
Right. I spent so long suppressing everything that I have went through, just trying to go on about my life, trying to get this career, trying to get this degree, trying to get the American dream, that I was suppressing and didn't realize that I was hurting myself. And so when it resurfaced, I'm left to deal with all of this. So it's like, you do have to be mindful of the type of environment that you have your child in, the type of environment that you even have yourself in. But also,
and
like
think
you
about
said
it.
before,
Even now, y'all, I have to, like, when we have, like, say we are arguing, I have to talk to myself in my head, like, remember, you have to watch your words. Like, I still teaching myself to be better at communication and be better and not try to say, well, you can leave, or, you know, not trying to have those words and not let that be my first comeback, because that men hurt too. Men have feelings too. And
they
their
have
way of
childhood
dealing with
traumas
it,
just like
they
we
have
do.
exactly. Exactly. And
You
if
know?
me and him would not have had that really good conversation about what was going on, we probably would be divorced right now.
Wow.
We would be.
Yeah. Y'all, in a relationship, we have to realize that we are going to hold the burdens of one another. That's just what it's going to be.
Right.
You're going to get my childhood traumas. I'm going to get your childhood traumas, but let's work through it. Let's try to heal one another. You know, piece up this brokenness that we have within each other. And TT, I don't know what your relationships have been like before, but I know that you're in a relationship now. How are you coping with this new relationship?
Ooh, I guess the saying is true. Like, when you really find someone that is really truly meant for you, it's kind of like you do trying to kind of self-sabotage and like, well, you gonna just do this like everybody else did to me. And so, but I had to realize that I can't approach it this way, because this man also has traumas and past hurts as well. So I have to be careful on how I handle and talk to him and things of that nature. But this new relationship has been healing for me. I'm still in my healing process, and so this new relationship has been very healing, therapeutic. And this is something that I didn't think that God was going to bless me with, because I've always been that I don't need to get married. I don't want to have kids. As long as I adopt, as long as I get this far in my career, I'm good. And so when this fell into my lap, it was definitely God ordained, because he knew what I needed in order to heal and to be loved properly, especially by a Black man. Because unfortunately, most of my traumas came from a Black man.
Wow.
And so this is just ironic that I'm over here, you know, in a whole relationship with a Black man that is very, very good to me. So I'm very, very appreciative, and I'm trying my best not to mess it up. Not saying I would cheat or anything, but just trying to address my traumas and my insecurities and things of that nature, making sure that I do my part. So,
Absolutely.
So as far as your relationships, like, how did, I know you really didn't get a chance to really touch on it, but how did your relationship, as far as, like, you know, you saying your father being abusive, you know, you really didn't know too much of your family, you're the black sheep, how did that deal with the decisions you made in dating?
Right. I really didn't date much. I was the type of, I didn't have my first boyfriend until my second semester in high school. So that had everything to do with, you know, how I was raised, my dad, but also I was sexually abused, and so that within itself kept me from just dating men. And then when I did try, I was in a domestic violence relationship in college. He pulled a shotgun out on me. I had to run out the apartment.
Oh my God.
Right. And so, you know, and I went back. I don't know why. So I made some bad decisions. I was with someone that was confused about their sexuality. And so as a woman, that makes you question a lot of things in your mind. I was with someone that I wasn't their type, and they reminded me of that every day. And so that's added on top of insecurities. And so to be with someone who loves me is kind of foreign.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad, Nikki, that you're in a space of healing. Just give yourself time. It's not going to be overnight, and I'm so excited that you are on a new journey.
Right.
And you know, Hilton, I'm glad that you were able to realize your mistakes before it became permanent. and you're working towards your relationship, and that's good. And for me, y'all gave me some homework. I need to, self-educate myself and take a look at myself and self-reflect on a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect, but y'all, I'm trying to be different. I want to be different. I'm going to be different. It just takes time. You know what I'm saying? If I could be better than the day before, then I'm on the right track. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Absolutely.
And so, okay. All right, y'all. So now let's get into Entrepreneur of the Week. Y'all know we do it every
week
podcast. Yes, we're not going to do open letter because I feel like we gave y'all enough tea. It's spill it over. It's spill it over. But yes, so Hilton's going to let y'all know who Entrepreneur of the Week is.
All right. So Entrepreneur of the Week is, y'all, we never give y'all anybody who we don't use or know personally just because we don't want to give anybody any credit and they're going to go out there and do y'all dirty. We love y'all too much for that. I actually have used her before. Her company's name is Sam Souls. That her name is it's on Facebook, and I'll leave the link below. She does blankets, tutus. I believe she does shirts, but for sure blankets and tutus and things like that. I've used her for my daughter's blankets and my overgrown blankets as well. So, y'all, check her out. The description will be below.
All right. So we always leave you guys with a quote. And for today's segment, the quote kind of ties into the conversations that we've had during the podcast. But the quote says, "Your wound is probably not your fault, but your healing is your responsibility."
Wow.
Okay. And for me, that means,
I like that. Yeah.
For me, that means, it probably wasn't your fault that, you're damaged, you're hurt, you're angered, but your job and your responsibility is to pull yourself from it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It didn't begin with you, but it ends with you.
Love yourself and them enough to let them or whoever it is or whatever it is go. For your
exactly.
You got that right.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki, we appreciate you. This flowed so naturally. It was like, we hope you come back part 2. Okay.
Yes,
I appreciate y'all. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to y'all experiences and what y'all been through. Y'all definitely encouraged me and just allowed me to just get some nuggets from y'all as far as me being in a new relationship. So I really appreciate y'all.
I feel like our relationship has grown a little strong because now I know some things I didn't really even know. And we've been knowing each other 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. And before this ends, I just want to tell y'all that I appreciate y'all because when we formed the group that we had, when we brought all the ladies together, I was in a dark place. I had just ended a friendship and I needed that sisterhood. So when we got into that group, y'all really helped me out a lot. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all more than you'll ever know. And I can't wait to see where our friendship goes.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate y'all listening again. Episode 3 will be dropping ASAP. We love y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Share. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We do love y'all, and we will see y'all next week. Don't forget to wash your hands and mind the business that pays you.
All right.
We love y'all. We're out.
Praying that we would get better, but